Okay, guys and girls. Sorry. No, sorry. Now I'm audio recording. I am videoing it, but that's mainly for insurance purposes. The audio recording, because it's a piece of piss, I can just connect it to the computer and drag it all at once and burn it onto a disc. If after the event anyone wants to get a copy of the audio as like backup notes, essentially just email me your postal address and I'll send you a copy. No charge. So you've got that to refer to with your notes and a reminder of exactly. Even though you're walking away with like 13 DVDs with 21 hours of video training on that goes beyond what we're doing this weekend, just if you want bullet points sort of triggering off, you might find it useful. Okay, so yeah, all those bits go together. Some of them we are, because repetition makes us remember, are going to obviously encounter again and again and again over the weekend. And hopefully as the weekend goes on, even before I point out that we've used that element or this element, you'll have spotted it already if you're thinking to yourself, ah, I see what's going on here. That's the idea. That's what we're aiming for. So, I suppose, seeing as I made that bold statement, that even though knowing all that doesn't make a blind bit of difference to it working, if anything, it actually makes it work better in terms of placebo. Why? God only knows. I suppose it's sort of the point where I should really show you that I can walk the walk and can do this. Just about there. Call that the therapy chair. The magic chair, call that. Brilliant. Over the course of the weekend, everyone will have the opportunity to participate in one or more of these demonstrations or to experience it. I'm generally speaking not going to get you to break up into groups practicing things, because ultimately the psychological dynamic of seeing a client, as we spoke about before the break, is a world apart from this dynamic. So yes, whilst practicing the technique and splitting up in a group would mean that you're going through the process, and to a greater or lesser degree will work, there is at an unconscious level a sense of implied sort of unwritten rule that when it's your turn to be the guinea pig, you'll go, oh yeah, that was good. Which is really no particular benefit to the other person or vice versa. And it's really irrelevant anyway, because in the real world, when you've got the client and you make sure the psychological dynamic's right, that's 99% of the job done anyway. There'll be one or two things tomorrow where I'll get you to break up and practice, but only for about 5 minutes. We're not going to kill half an hour of a day just randomly having it's pointless. Doing it for real is somewhat slightly more important. So, we're going to start easy, shall we say. So I don't want anyone who lied earlier, who actually is about to confess that they spend 200 quid a day on cocaine and they've just nipped to the loo and had half a bottle of vodka. Leave that till Sunday afternoon. But something relatively straightforward. So if I was to say, and we'll do this content-free now, what they call content-free is a term used in psychotherapy and whatever treatments, just basically referring to the fact that there are processes you can use to help your client overcome issues without you as the therapist ever needing to know what their problem was. Which can be useful in the context of if you get a client come to you who, let's say it comes to light that they're a rape victim. Some schools of therapy thought would say, especially psychoanalysis and stuff would say, you get them to talk it over till they come to terms with it. I frankly think that is glorified fucking torture. Getting them to relive it again and again and again, fuck off. I think that's wrong. there are processes you can use where you can get them to think without having to re-experience it. Or in other words, think of that element in your life, but don't run through it all. That you can use without them having to verbalise to you what they went through, in such a manner that at the end they know the psychological, emotional intensity of that memory or anchor in the mind has lessened to a level that's bearable and right for them to move forward in life. So sometimes it's appropriate to be able to do stuff without actually knowing what the issue is. Obviously, other occasions, you really do need to know what the issue is because you want to be putting direct suggestions in there, you know, like with smokers. You know, you want to be coming out with waffle like, you no longer need, want, crave or desire for cigarettes in any way, shape or form. Whenever you see a cigarette on the tip of it in your mind's eye, you'll see the number 19, reminding you of the 19 deadly poisons in cigarettes. There's actually hundreds of them, but 19 it sounds you know. Anyway, we'll cover that more when we get to individual therapy examples. The point is, any of these examples, all the elements that make them work, apply to all the other examples as well. That's the key thing I really want you to remember. Because it really is as simple as it does seem like I'm making this too simple, and as the weekend goes on it'll seem as though I'm making it even simpler, and that's because I truly believe it is. And just so long as you end up believing it is and project that intent to your client, then you will get the results that you require. So, not something that's mega bloody life-threatening at this stage, but something that if you had to think about it, or it's something that does enter your mind now and again in life, and it's one of those things where you go, fucking hell, why am I thinking of that again? I wish it'd go away. That type of intensity of thing, that when it does start pestering you, you think, bloody hell, and you get caught into that trap of, and it really pissing you off. That kind of thing, that ideally, if it was to jump up in your head, you prefer it to be such that when it happened in the future, if it was to happen in the future, you just go, no, and it wouldn't sort of drag you down or pull you back. Something along those lines. You don't need to tell the group what it is, but you do need to be prepared to come and sit on the magic chair. Do we have a volunteer in the room? Volunteer being the key word. Because I'm not going to...
I'll do it.
Okay? On the basis that this is, you know, if you don't feel any change, be honest about it. This is not one of those...
Yeah, it's something, you know, it's something that I've noticed recently, and I thought, I'm going to sort that out sometime, but I've never actually got around to doing it.
Okay.
So.
In that case, give Clive a round of peer group pressure as he makes his way to the magic chair. Thank you very much for volunteering, sir. I know they're not the world's comfiest chairs. I can't ask you to recline back in it and look at the light and use all the psychological, stereotypical, perceived, therapeutic environment.
I'm not giving you £250,
we'll cut that bit out. Okay, Clive, what I'd like you to do then is just close your eyes a few moments. We're not going to hypnotise you as such. I'd just like you to take a few moments in your own mind, in a way that feels right for you, to visualise, imagine, call it what you will. You know the way your mind works better than anyone else. So do it in a way that's right for you. I'd just like you to, I'm using the term visualise, but experience whatever. That which ideally you'd like to leave firmly, permanently in the past, so that it no longer bothers you in the future. But obviously at the moment it's still got an intensity to it. So I want you to take a few moments just to identify that intensity. And I assure you that's the last time you'll have to do that. And then when you've got a sense and a feeling of that, you can just allow yourself to open your eyes. That's right. And Clive, if there was sort of an imaginary scale here with 0 at the bottom, no problem whatsoever, numbers going up 1 to 10, and at the top's 10, and that's like ripping your hair out, I'm really pissed off with this, why the hell did that have to enter my head, why can't it just be gone? And that's at the top of the scale. 0 down there, no problem. How high up that scale at the moment would you say that sort of intensity is?
7 or 8.
A 7 or 8?
Yeah.
So we'll sort of say 7.5 then. Alright? We'll let you have half numbers because that way it's a bit more honest to what you're feeling. That's brilliant. What I'd like to do then, Clive, is take a nice deep breath in through your nose. And then out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. It just reoxygenates the bloodstream, it helps you relax, that is a physical fact. And when you're ready, just close your eyes. Now, I'm not going to hypnotise you as such, it's just a state of eyes closed relaxation, just to help you to focus your mind and your body in a way that's right for you. However, you will find that as I count backwards from 3 down to 1, on the count of 1, if you concentrate, as I'm sure you will, you'll find that on the count of 1, if you use your powers of intelligence, imagination and concentration so effectively, and keep your eyes tightly closed at all times unless I say otherwise, that every noise you hear, every word I say, every breath you take and every thought that you think merely serves as a sign and a signal to help you relax more completely. So that it's almost as if on the count of 3, every nerve, fibre, tissue and muscle in your body, from the tips of your toes to the tips of your fingers, is starting to become so limp, so loose, so relaxed, so heavy and so tired in a way that feels right for you. And on 2, I don't know if you want to go into trance now or in a few moments time, but go into trance you will all the same as I talk directly to your unconscious now, and everything I say becomes 100% total reality for you in a positive, long-term, beneficial manner. Because on 1, in a few moments time, I'm actually going to lift up your right foot. When I do it, it will not bother you, worry you or concern you. You'll have to keep your eyes tightly closed. In fact, it's just a sign and a signal to relax more completely when I lift your right foot up on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, and relax. That's fantastic. Drifting down, sinking down, drifting down, sinking down in a way that feels right for you. That's just take a few more moments to allow your mind that you can control so much better than anyone else. And just allow your unconscious mind, your subconscious mind, call it what you will. So this time on the count of 3, take your mind and the body to a level that is perfect for you, right for you to achieve 100% success here today. 1, 2, 3. Drifting down, sinking down. That's fantastic. You can, in a few moments' time, I'm going to lift up your right arm. When I do, I'm just going to hold it out in front of you, and I want you to concentrate all your energy and all your emotion that once in the past was connected to that image, that experience, that thing that you were thinking of. Focus all of that into your right hand, into your right fist, into your right arm, the very moment I put your arm out in front of you. Keeping your eyes closed. Take that now and just make a fist and really focus it all. So it's going from your mind, down your neck, down your arm, from your shoulders to your elbow, to your wrist, into your fist, and really make that, get it all there. Feel it all flooding, drifting, sinking, melting from your mind, down your shoulder, to your elbow, to your wrist, into your fist. Feel it there for one last time. Take out all that negative into your arm. Allow it to move there now, permanently. Allow it to go there. Allow it to be this moment, right here, right now, where you're about to say goodbye, permanently, completely, safely, and in a manner that's calm, safe and secure for you to move forward in a way that is perfectly positive and beneficial in every way, shape and form. Because this time on the count of 3, when I tap you on the back of your wrist, your right wrist that is, that you've currently got out in front of you, that very moment, that very instant, that very second, it's just a sign and a signal to your mind and your body to instantly let your fist go loose, your arm to become limp and loose and fall down to your lap. And the very second you do, everything will instantly and immediately drift away, melt away, be washed away perfectly and positively for you. 1, 2, 3, and now. Drifting down, sinking down. The deeper you go, the better you feel, and the better you feel, the deeper you go with every breath that you take, every noise that you hear, every word that I say, and every thought that you think. Because this time I'm going to count from 1 to 5. On the count of 5, and only on the count of 5, then and only then, you'll instantly be able to open your eyes. And when you do, the past is gone, essentially. You've said goodbye to that, and you'll find that you're just lighter, brighter, more positive, and the more you try to re-experience that which once bothered you in the manner that it once did, the more you'll find that it's impossible to do so in the manner that used to hold you back. Because on one, lighter and brighter, it's almost as if every nerve, fibre, tissue and muscle in your body, from the tips of your toes to the tips of your fingers, is being washed with pure spring water, re-energising, revitalising each and every cell and molecule within you. As on two, it's almost as if all the stresses, tensions, worries, fears and apprehensions of days and weeks gone by are leaving your mind and leaving your body now, feeling so good. 3, it just feels good to start to come back to normality. 4, lighter and brighter. And 5, just take a few moments, and when you're ready you can just open your eyes, Clive, when you're ready. Take a few moments to bring yourself back to full alertness. That's cool. Don't know, you may find you want to readjust yourself in the chair just so your back firm. You look chill. That's cool.
I'll get some coffee.
You cool? Tell you what, Clive, just interestingly, it's not a case of being a cunt and trying to get you to re-experience stuff that's gone. But I'd just like you to close your eyes a few moments and just try to re-experience that you did a few moments ago, okay? Just try and re-experience it in the manner that it used to bother you in the past, when it used to be an issue. Okay, just take a few moments to notice how different that has now become. Open your eyes, and now thinking about it as it was before, 0 being no problem whatsoever, gone completely, 10 being the worst it ever was, pulling your hair out, and 0 being gone completely. How much lower down that scale would you say it is now? Honestly, truly, sincerely.
1, 2.
A 1 or 2?
At most, yeah.
Would you say that's a level that you'd find appropriate from here on in, or would you like to get it to be a 0?
No, that's fine.
You happy with it at that
Yeah,
point?
that's fine, yeah.
Well, you know, now you've got it to that point, you can never raise above that because it's locked, glued, welded, cemented there. Thank you very much indeed, Clive. We'll give them a round of applause for that. Okie dokie. The irony of it is that, you know, should for any reason you try to think about that from the past again in the future, whilst it's obviously still there somewhere, the irony of it is you'll probably find that it does become a lower number anyway. It just sort of carries on. It's a bit like it just carries on working even though I'm not saying anything, which is future pacing, as I told you before. But even though you know what it is, it still has an effect. The strange paradox of it. Right, okay. Before I sort of explain what I did, or rather why I did, I was going to say questions.
Sorry, I was going to ask, what if somebody is disabled and they're, you know, with lifting their arms or their legs, and, you know, if they can't actually physically do that?
Chances are one of them they will be able to, in which case use the other one.
If they're sort of like that.
If they can't if they can't either of them, then either A, find they might be able to with the leg, improvise a bit. If they've got no arms or legs, or functioning arms or legs, then don't use that technique. I'll show you shed loads of other techniques, obviously. But you can use the thinking behind why that works still. Just obviously if you couldn't, for physical reasons, use an element of that, you may have to instead, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, make something up rather than clencing the fist. It might just be that you get them to, sound ridiculous, but clench their teeth.
Okay.
Just as long as the reason being, because if you get them to do something physically, without any suggestion whatsoever, when you then say release that tension, there is a genuine physiological feeling of relief and relaxation. And that becomes anchored and connected to the idea that that means something magical's happened in the mind. So it makes it more believable. So they come to believe that, I felt a sense of relief, it must be gone. So I'm using a physical trick to attach their mind around.
There's something there, because when I got my arm out, I could have held it there for hours, how it felt, but if I tried that now, within a few minutes...
Because you were putting emotion into it, and it was important.
In a few minutes it would drop, because I wouldn't be able to hold it. My back would start aching in my shoulders, where I was actually, I felt as though I could hold it there, you know, for hours.
Because energy, emotion. Right, any questions about what we've just done? I know that sounds daft, I haven't explained why it worked yet, although I have I have, more so than perhaps you may realise. Or rather, any observations from the people in the room who've already done therapy before? You are allowed to talk. I'm not going to bite your head off.
I mean, I use that a lot, and it just works.
Yeah.
Never had any resistance.
Because I like to use tricks. I mean, I don't trick. Some people see as a negative word. I like to use things that I know a person is genuinely going to feel, that I know for a fact they're going to feel, so then the so-called suggestions or concept or ritual can be framed around that, so that they're genuinely going to feel something, so they come to believe therefore that what you said verbally is more believable and more powerful. Now, you know, I mean, if any of you tense your fist and your arm with your eyes closed for a while, you feel the muscles tense, and when you let go, it is a sense of relief, which anchored, in conjunction, anchored being the... Whenever I do that, it means wanky NLP term. Anchored, excuse me, anchored in that way, comes to believe. So I suppose we need to sort of break that down. That is a sort of routine, ritual, call it what you will, that I use very regularly, in that order, because I found it to be effective. However, so are all the ones that I'll be showing you, because I'm familiar with them. But sometimes it can be fun for your own amusement just to make something up on the spot, which again is fine, because you'll perhaps go, well, I'll do that from that idea, I'll do that from that idea. Doesn't matter, as long as you deliver it in a manner where it looks like you did that for a purpose and a reason and meant to, because you're the authority figure, the professional, all of the other elements will come into place, and as long as the commitment and the desire is there, the change will occur.
Just thinking that was a really fast, if you like, intervention.
Mm.
So how long a standard would your time slots be for an appointment with a client?
Right, well, when we come to that, the truth is I always say that a therapy session is from 60 minutes to 90 minutes. Purely and simply because I'm going to be taking at least 250 quid off them. Now, people are conditioned to booking time with experts in this country, certainly in most places in the world, in terms of paying for an hour or part thereof, e.g. solicitors, barristers. So yeah, I know, you're thinking, hang on, job's done. Yeah, it is. However, even though the job's done, I'd be able to kill them, because I'd have killed the first sort of 10-15 minutes doing the client questionnaire form, which I'll talk about tomorrow. I'm teaching you this sort of in reverse, for the reason that you'll already then be ahead of the game when we get to the stuff that goes at the beginning. It will make sense, I promise you. But then I would do what I call complete mind therapy to end that session that will kill the next 57 minutes and means I can go for a brew. I'm just...
I did a hypnosis session. It was the first one I've done, actually, a few months ago. Actually, it was January, thinking about it. And I basically just read the script, 3 pages, some paper that I got. Obviously, I got her asleep on the bed.
Yeah.
It was in a hotel room, but there was nothing naughty going on. Even though she suggested that.
Yeah.
I read it off there, and I was using the Wi-Fi connection. I was going on the...
Where did you find that phone?
She came to me, actually.
Clive referred me about 18 months, 2 years ago, a lady that ran a swingers club in Bury. I sorted a flying phobia out, and he's about to refer me a lap dancer, is it?
Yeah.
I love this client.
It's inappropriate for me to do that because, you know, we've had a relationship.
Oh, right, okay, fair enough. Right, yeah.
Also, as well, if I'm nasty to her, I have to be nasty to her. It might, obviously...
It might affect the pleasure side for you.
Correct. Yeah, even though she'll probably be very grateful afterwards.
Do people get flying phobias swinging from the chandelier?
Only you niche market for you there.
My phobia wasn't flying, it was crashing.
Well, yeah.
And claustrophobia, wasn't it?
Well, no, that's just it. When we come to phobias, you'll see that there is only one phobia, and that is the fear of being scared of something, or the fear of death. but at the very least it's the fear of being scared. It's like, oh, it's just different triggers for people. Jumping ahead of it. Yeah, it is very quick, and ultimately that is job done. Phobia cures. When we come on to that, job's done in about 10 minutes. Smoking cessation, I can pretty much do it in 5 minutes, but I'd let them go through the CMT afterwards for another 57 minutes. So they feel they're getting value for money because people are conditioned to it. It seems too quick otherwise.
Does that affect the believability though in that we were talking about in setting up your stage?
It's context. It does a bit if they come into your office. If you're on a television show or a radio show where you're the perceived expert, being able to do it incredibly quick like that is what television want. My good friends and colleagues, Nick and Eva Speakman, who do a life coach less ordinary and living TV, they're regularly on TV shows, and live on air they've got like less than 5 minutes between one segment and the next to cure someone's phobia before they get confronted with whatever was the thing live on air, and either they look wonderful because they've cured them, or it's gone wrong. And I'm glad to say so far it's never gone wrong on live TV, and I can honestly say they do not, unlike some certain perhaps London-based television hypnotists do not use stooges. They don't meet the clients until the day when they arrive at the studio. They don't require their PR company to provide the client for them, which
saying about that, the CMT, I find it better as well if they actually fall asleep, because then...
Well, they will.
Yeah.
They will fall asleep in the environment you're doing it in. But I mean genuine sleep. Because, you know, these are all bits as we go along. It's going to seem very disjointed this weekend, all my seminars do, but by the end of it, I promise you, you'll know more than most working therapists. You will, because when you can control the environment, your heating's going to be up too much. The room is going to be very dimly lit when you come to do that element of the session. You're going to close the blinds. You are going to have sort of relaxing incense burning. You are going to have the winky, wanky, arty-farty, new age, preconceived, stereotypical idea relaxation music playing. They are going to be in the leather reclining chair, so they're going to recline at that point. So everything is basically... you want a kit. But it's fine. If you believe, and apparently studies have said, but just as many studies say this is bollocks, but a number of studies say that when you're asleep, you know, you can learn foreign languages and stuff. So it's still going in, whatever you're saying. And if it's not, when they listen to the CD after the session, once every other day for the next 28 days, at some point it's going to sink in. It's, you know, it's a numbers game. But the job doesn't really matter too much, because you've done the job in the first 5 to 10 minutes. It's done. Anything else is icing on cake, it's concrete to stop it resurfacing. Now, it's different when we get tomorrow onto things such as drug addicts. You're not going to have the job done in 5 minutes. You might have an element of, you might be able to take one of the situations where they go, you know, in this scenario I take more than in this scenario, and reduce it such rapidly so that when they go into that situation it's at a same level as in all the other situations, so that ultimately to them it's a reward and a proof that they have already reduced, but in a way that isn't that painful for them, but gives them a motivation that this is worth proceeding with. Yes, that's possible, but you're not going to in 5 minutes job done, because there's a lot more going on. You know, there's a physical addiction there as well as the psychological.
Which, for a sort of safety point of view, more for yourself as opposed to the client, where the client got their safety, would you actually take the sessions so that they could see there was no inappropriate behaviour whilst they were out? Or
I would suggest that you have a webcam and you can record in MP4 format, not to broadcast it on the internet.
Trust you.
Sideline.
I made them aware that you are recording it, but it's not going to be made public. They'll sign their client consent form, which we'll come to tomorrow, which has agreed to that anyway. MP4 file is very small, so you can store lots of sessions on one DVD for filing purposes. So if anyone ever did make a false claim, you've got evidence that nothing inappropriate occurred.
Sorry. I was going to say, I used to use the reputation thing, in the early days.
Yeah, well the books call it arm levitation. It's not, I fucking told him. Keep your arm there.
Yeah.
It's nothing hypnotic, I've told him what to do.
Yeah, wherever you want.
Yeah.
I stopped using it for two reasons. One was the value for money thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing is, most of the clients are women, and I'm a bit uncomfortable about touching women because you don't want those kind of.
I find, right, it's personal belief obviously, but I find that if you A, recording a session to cover yourself legally, B, if it's a female client, I will only treat them if they have a friend in the room anywhere. That's for my protection. And C, as long never touch a client without previously telling them you're going to do, where it's going to be and in what manner. So that if they choose that that's inappropriate, they can do at that moment in time before you've even touched them. But the truth is, in the context that you've already told them, and it is always only a place that isn't inappropriate, either the wrist or even when I said ankle, I'd just lift up the, you know, or if it was a female who had a dress, then I'd have gone behind the ankle and pushed it off. So minimal amount of contact as possible. But I do find that having some contact makes you more dominant authority figure. And I know the schools of thought, like Ericksonian hypnosis, indirect, permissive, be very nice. You can get the job done a lot quicker and a lot more permanently by people want to be dominated. They do. They want to be told. They want to be told you haven't got the fucking problem anymore. They may not admit it, but that's what's going. That's my honest belief. That's what's going on. They want someone to say, "Stop fucking doing that, you cunt." Maybe not using that language, but meaning the same. You know, they want someone to say it's okay to change. They want to be given permission. Because that way they don't have to it's like they don't have to admit to themselves that frankly they could have already sorted this out for themselves. So you're given permission, because by the time they come to wanting change, they have on some level, even if it's only unconscious, come to the realisation, you know, what a silly fucker I am, I could have done something about this earlier. But people don't want to have to admit that because that's painful. What's more pleasurable is to be told, it's alright, you can make that change now, and this is what you've got to do, and someone else take responsibility almost. That's sort of the psychological mind game I like to look at it as that's going on. So I do feel a bit of touching is more dominant. You obviously do it as gently as possible, with the exception of when it comes to, you know, that demo I just did, when it comes to, okay, let's break it down, what did I do? I got him to sit down, and if I was paying more attention, I should have really got him to sit so his legs weren't crossed. But, don't matter. I'll make that a point. You know, in NLP they call it pacing and leading. I will say in a moment, I'm going to lift up your leg and drop it, and it's a sign and a signal just to relax more, and I'll lead that behaviour by lifting it up and dropping it to get them into a position that is naturally more sort of comfortable. So anyway, they're in position. I asked them to close their eyes. I said I'm not going to hypnotise you. That's a lie. Arguably speaking, depending on what your belief and definition of hypnosis is, I did hypnotise Clive. Because my definition of hypnosis is if the person's got their eyes closed and listening to you, they're hypnotised. Simple as that.
Well, the first time you tell anybody that about hypnosis, they'll say, you're going to maybe be a chicken.
Mm. To which you know, are you going to make me be a chicken or something like that? And I go, well, I can do. Yeah. But you've only paid for an hour of my time. If you want me to do that, it's going to cost more money. It's up to you. We can do that if you want. Or do you want to press on and get rid of that problem that you've come with? That's the way I deal with that. I don't tell them, oh no, stage hypnosis is completely different. I don't, because I want the client to believe it is as bang, you're done. Because in truth, it is bang and you're done. Lots of therapists will waste time telling them it's something completely different. No, fuck it, if they've got that misconception, go with it. But also relieve their fear that that's what you're going to do at the same time. And my way of doing it is with a bit of humour or sometimes they'll have the puzzled look of, no, of course I don't want to pay more money. Be fine, we'll just get on with the treatment then. Right, you know? Either way, it's a win-win. And you've still got that belief system in place that yes, you could do that if you wanted. Which you could, but what's the point? So yeah, I told him to close his eyes. And you may have heard me use the phrase, just so long as you keep your eyes tightly closed at all times, then this will be successful for you. He's pretty much now, in the context of the session, motivated to keep his eyes closed. Which ties in with the idea if your eyes are closed, you're hypnotised.
Yeah, normally I have a problem keeping my eyes closed for any length of time.
That gave you a motive.
Yeah, that's right.
A reason. Especially when it was followed up with just so long as you use your powers of intelligence, imagination and concentration effectively. As I'm sure you will. In other words, if you don't do what I say, you've no intelligence, no imagination, no concentration, you think. That's what's getting processed at an unconscious level. So there is more of a desire to do it, which is setting that thought process going, that means that we're back to all those rituals, everything we covered before. So I said, right, first of all, I said, think of that image, you know, and I've already started doing what they call disassociation. And I'm going to phrase it from this moment as if it's no longer such an issue as it was. So I'm not going to say, think of it as it bothers you right now. I'm going to say, take a few moments just to think of that issue as it used to bother you, when it used to be at its worst. And it's all words that, if you break the sentence down, are sort of talking about it in the past tense. So it's disassociating already. Take a few moments to get a sense and a feeling. What the fuck does that mean? Whatever they want it to. That's why it's non-specific, that's why it's, you know, vague language, as NLP call it. Whatever they feel or sense is right, because you've said just take a few moments to get a sense and a feeling in a way that feels right for you, so they feel good because whatever they feel is right. You see, it's all psychology, this phraseology. That's good. And when you feel that you've got a sense and a feeling, just open your eyes. Great. And this is the most important bit then. In pretty much any of the therapeutic, quick treatments, I feel this is probably the key reason of it working. NLP calls it calibration. And this is where we go. If there was a scale, imagine there's a scale here, from 0 at the bottom to 10 at the top. And 0's no problem whatsoever. 0, as in nothing, no problem whatsoever, and I do that hand movement. And 10 up here is the worst it ever was. Almost like you're ripping your hair out, it's really painful, it's terrible, and we're ramping it up, as they call it in NLP. It's really, really bad. How high up, and I'm moving my hand up, so this is a visual suggestion, how high up that scale is that memory right now that you've just experienced? So I'm almost saying, give me a high number. How high up that scale is it? Doesn't matter what number they say. The key is to get a number. Because then when they get a lower one later, to themselves, they're saying there's been a positive change. So, you know, if you look at me, visually, it's the visual suggestion is as important as the wording with this. You know, it's like, just imagine there's like a ladder or a scale here, going from 0 up to 10. And down here at 0, there's nothing, no problem whatsoever. And right at the top at 10, it's the worst it ever was, like pulling your hair out, terrible, almost want to kill yourself. Terrible up there. How high up that scale is it right now? So they're going to give you a number that's bad. Some people will say, oh, it's a 13, great, whatever. They give you a number. You say, that's fantastic. Just take a nice deep breath in through your nose, and then out through your mouth. In through your nose, and then out through your mouth. That's because it genuinely does oxygenate the bloodstream and help you feel some level of genuine physiological relaxation, which the person is going to come to think and believe has happened because it's part of the magic juju. So again, it's a sort of physiological thing we know is definitely going to happen. And now just close your eyes down. And just so long as you keep your eyes tightly closed at all times, unless I say otherwise, this will be 1,000,000% successful for you. And just so long as you use your powers of intelligence, imagination and concentration effectively, as I'm sure you will, then you'll find that this works fantastically for you. Now in a few moments' time, always warning the client when you're going to touch them, in a few moments' time I'm going to take hold of your right wrist. It could have just as easily been the left, but right wrist. I'm going to put your arm out in front of you. You'll keep your eyes tightly closed. When I do this, it will not bother you, worry you, or concern you in any way, shape or form. You'll notice when I give suggestions, I try to do it in threes, because mine works well in three. But rather than saying the same word 3 times, I use 3 different words that essentially mean the same thing. So it won't bother you, worry you, or concern you. And then you get hold of the wrist, hold your arm out in front of them, and you don't jerk it dead hard, but you get it so it's straight, and then you just sort of wiggle it a bit, and you go, put all the tension in, make a fist, make it strong, so that it's almost as if, because then whatever they experience could be construed as it's almost like, but if it doesn't totally fit what you've said, it's not like they're going, well, he said it'd be like this, or she said, and it's not, which looks like failure. They will always interpret it that you're correct. So therefore it's carried on that process. So it's almost as if it's locked, glued, welded, cemented, bolted firmly in place. 2 sets of 3 there. And then when you feel that they are starting to put some tension in, then you can let go. Because the last thing you want to do is let go when they go. Hey, make sure, keep hold of it until you feel they've got some tension. And then you can start ramping up the idea in the mind, because you want to distract the mind a little bit now from their arm. So if they're thinking about something else, conventional hypnosis books would say, well, the moment they're thinking about something else, you've now got arm catalepsy. No, you fucking haven't. You've got someone who's thinking about something else, who's not moving their arm from that position because they've got a motive and desire to do it, and you've told them that if they don't, they're thick. Well, no, sorry you haven't. You said, just so long as they use their powers of intelligence, imagination and concentration effectively. But apparently that's arm catalepsy. So you don't distract them, and there is a gentle touch. You've already said it won't bother you, worry or concern you. But I just gently tap them with one finger when I go, it's almost as if all that negative emotion, all that shit from the past, any bloody phrase you want to, but with a bit of anger in my voice, that they feel, yeah, it's bad from the past. It's almost as if it's running down from your mind, down to your shoulder, from your shoulder to your elbow, to your wrist, into your fist. It's going, oh yeah, and so they're getting into, because I'm doing the anger, so they've got to bang into that idea. And we repeat this for a little short while so that they're really getting tension in their arm, so that when we come to say you can release that tension, they're really going to feel a physical difference that's like, oh, thank God, I've got my arm down. But that will anchor the idea of, yes, I've let go of it. It's a metaphor. Another wanky animal. Indeed. But that's what it is. So we give them a few moments for that, and then you pre-warn them because they need to know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. So there's no confusion. You say in a few moments' time, I'm going to tap you on your right wrist, and when I do, it will not bother you, worry you, or concern you. It's just a sign and a signal. You'll have heard when I got him to close his eyes the second time, I came out with a few so-called induction phrases, you know. With every breath that you take, every noise that you hear, every word that I say and every thought that you think merely serves as a sign and a signal to help you relax more completely. And I'm doing this stereotypical, I'm getting tired voice, so it's like a non-verbal suggestion within the verbal, that, you know. But it's what people expect. They've been conditioned with wanky television programmes and films, so go with the stereotypes and more likely to buy into the belief. You know, other great phrases. It's almost as if every nerve, fibre, tissue and muscle in your body, from the tips of your toes to the tips of your fingers, is becoming so limp, so loose, so relaxed, so heavy, and so tired, in a way that feels right for you. So it's always right. You'll recognise these phrases a lot. They're what I call standard phrases hypnotists use, or at least ones that know what they're doing do. They're all on the DVDs you take away with you. Trust me, it doesn't get any more complicated than this. It is, you know. I hate to say it, but you know, when we go for lunch in 20 minutes, you'll already know more that's of use in the real world than the majority of fucking people who leave NLP courses. In terms of actually helping people overcome the problem, because you won't be brainwashed. Oh, fuck off, anyway. Right. Otherwise, I'm going to have to start doing this and let it go. So you've told them, on the count of 3, I'm going to tap you on the wrist. When I do, it won't bother you, worry or concern you. It's just a sign and a signal to instantly and immediately allow your arm to drop down into your lap, allow your fist to open, and allow all those negative thoughts, ideas, and emotions, power of 3 again, all those negative thoughts, ideas, and emotions, to instantly, immediately, and permanently, power of 3, instantly, immediately, and permanently leave your mind and body in a way that's right for you. So it doesn't matter what they do, because obviously that's right for them, so therefore it is right, so they come to the conclusion it's going to work. And you go, okay, 1, 2, and on 3, you tap the wrist. You tap it a bit more than tapping it. You actually sort of, technically, just because their eyes are closed, remember, so you go 1, 2, and you actually hit their wrist before you say the number 3. So it almost happens at the same time, but the touch happens just before they hit the number 3. So they can't psychologically second guess it and think about it. So it's slightly unexpected because it's 1, 2, 3. So it's more likely they can't psychologically think, I'll keep my arm there, or whatever. And also because you do effectively, a couple of fingers, push downwards, so it's already started that movement. There comes a point where it will just carry on anyway. You're technically pushing your hand down in the lap to make sure that they feel it drop in the lap. Because when it drops into the lap, blimey, that's what you said would happen. And again, yet again, the thing you said would happen has happened. So it must be the magic juju, the lucky woo-woo, the hypnosis, the NLP, call it what you will. And they come to believe. Well, they will feel a genuine sense of relief, and when they let the fist go and their arm down, relaxing all the muscles again. So they come to believe that is linked together. And then you say, this time I'm going to count from 1 to 5, because arguably you have hypnotised them, so you need to legally, in law, we'll cover laws tomorrow, awaken them properly. So you'll say, you know, in a moment I'm going to count from 1 to 5. On the count of 5 and only on the count of 5, so you know what to do and when to do it. On the count of 5 and only on the count of 5, you'll instantly be able to open your eyes and you'll feel fantastic and your normal self in every way. You'll just find that the past is now completely the past. 1, and I come out with shit like this for any awakening, just metaphors of feeling good, you know. 1, it's almost as if every nerve, fibre, tissue, but now we're doing a motivated, energetic type of voice, feel-good voice. 1, it's almost as if every nerve, fibre, tissue and muscle in your body, from the tips of your toes to the tips of your fingers, is being washed with pure spring water, re-energising, revitalising you in a way that feels right for you. And on 2, it's almost as if all the worries, stresses, tensions, fears and apprehensions of days and weeks gone by are leaving your mind and leaving your body now. 3, lighter and brighter. 4, coming up out of it. And on 5, whenever you're ready, you can just open your eyes. That's fantastic. How much better you do feel, yeah? Not do you feel that. How much better you do feel.
Could you turn the lights up at that point so the room's actually brighter?
On number 5, if you so desire, flick the light on the number 5.
Dim
so
the brightness.
Yeah.
Because they do a lot like an NLP, don't they? We're making things brighter and doing angles.
You can indeed. Thank you for mentioning that. I was going to mention it when we get to consulting room floors, but yeah, it is relevant. You can do. But it'll work just as effectively here, but that'll just add another element to it psychologically. Oh, it's lighter. Feeling it almost. And then you go, you know what? It's not about me being a cunt or anything like that. Where words money, and I don't want you to ever have to experience that. That's now completely in the past. Again, we're giving a suggestion that it's now completely in the past. I want you to move forward with your life positively, but just try. Now, try. The word "try" is implying that they will not be able to. Emile Kuhn called it the law of reversed effort. What resists persists. The more you try to do something, the harder it becomes. When you're trying to find your car keys, the more you look, and then they end up being where you looked in the first place. But there you go.
The ultimate master, Yoda, said, didn't they?
Do or do not, there is no try.
Only do
exactly.
what you can do, yeah.
But beware, Yoda is a benefit cheat. He is Yoda, Star Wars. And Mrs. Great, he is. Walks along with his little walking stick, he's claiming sickness. But the moment it kicks off, backflips when he's in. You from? A lot of it happens on the dark side. Darth Vader, asthma, my ass. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, you say just try, which is this idea that they won't be able to, just try to get a sense of a feeling of what it used to be like in the past. Again, you're saying it's not like that anymore. Okay, just take a few moments, that's fantastic, and now open your eyes. Now, if there was a scale from 0 to 10, and 0 was at the bottom, gone completely, 10 at the top, the worst it ever was, almost ripping your hair out, almost killing yourself right at the top, the worst it ever was, and 0's down here, nothing, gone completely. How much lower down that scale would you say it is right now? And I'm overemphasising words there, but you're getting the idea. We've now reversed it, so we're putting the emphasis on it is a lower number. And it was a dramatically lower number. It could be that, you know, they start off saying number 8 and then it's only number 7. Fine if that happens. You just go, that's brilliant. Already you've made such wonderful progress. That shows me that this next little process we're going to do together can smash it down even lower for you. And you just go into another process that you'll have learned over the weekend to get the numbers down. But if you've got sort of a change like that, a good few numbers different, that's the point then when you must ask the client. Because they might not want it to be a 0. They might want some element of emotion to it, but not as it was. Hence, you know, do you feel that's an appropriate level for you to continue with your life positively from this moment forward? Which in itself is a suggestion. You will continue with your life positively from this moment forward. Every single word structured so that it's all going for the positive direction. And in that case, Clive said, yeah. If they said, no, actually I like it a bit lower, then you do another process. Ultimately, you will end up with persistence getting the numbers down, and far quicker than conventional textbooks tell you is the case. Does that make sense, everybody? Yeah? Makes sense? Cool. Right. So, I mean, you could call that what you want. Some elements of that Tom Silver calls emotional release therapy, claims it's his own unique idea, but I found books from the 1940s with that in, so clearly it's not. You know, well, there is nothing new. It's just using things in different contexts. So, okay, let's what time now? What time are we going for lunch? We're going to lunch at 1:45, so I don't want to be doing anything that's too long just yet. So, and as we repeat these exercises, doing different ones, you'll see I use pretty much a lot of the same phraseology. The physical actions I get people to do may be different, but pretty much the phraseology will be practically the same. So you won't get fed up hearing certain phrases.
Yeah, but when you're...
But it's because they work.
When you're the client, though, you don't realise
No,
that.
because it's been done for a reason, obviously. Well, it is, but also you don't know what to expect. That's why you're always in control. So, yeah, let's try one with everyone in the room. Okay, put down your handbags, your purses, anything else you've got on your laps and what have you. And if the women could do the same, that would be a great start. Okay. Tremendous. We are just going to try this little experiment with everybody. Fear not. You will stay where you sat. Could anyone tell me? I know obviously that you have issues with your back, Elaine.
Your body, basically.
Right. Well, you're all right moving your arms like that for a short period of time.
Yeah, I'll give it well.
Okay. Okay. We don't have to.
No, I'd like to try.
Okay. In that case, what I'd like each and every one of you in the room to do is get yourself as comfortable as you can. Probably not tomorrow with your chairs, but and place your arms out in front of you, or if it's more suitable for you, lying perhaps near you, whatever, but ideally as much out in front of you as you can. Take your left palm and place it palm upwards. So your right palm is obviously palm downwards. Then just close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose and then out through your mouth. And I'm talking to each and every one of you in this room, each and every one of you I'm talking to. Okay? So my voice is a suggestion to each and every one of you. You should keep your eyes tightly closed at all times unless I say otherwise. It will just be a sign and a signal for you to help you relax completely. Because I'd like you to imagine in your mind's eye, as I count backwards from 10 down to 1, that tied to the middle finger of your right hand is a big bunch of red helium balloons. A big, huge bunch of bright red helium balloons, lifting your right arm into the air more and more with each second that passes by, in a way and only to a level that feels comfortable enough and safe for you, of course. 9. On 9, I want you to imagine that on the palm of your left hand is a big pile of leather-bound library books. And that big pile of leather-bound library books is pushing your left hand down lower, sinking down, drifting down with each second that passes by. That's tremendous. And on 8, with each count backwards, you find that with every breath that you take, every noise that you hear, every word that I say and every thought that you think, it merely serves as a sign and a signal to your mind and body in a way that feels right for you. For that big bunch of red helium balloons to get lighter and lighter, lighter than air, drifting up, flying up, almost levitating now. As on 7, someone else has come along and put another 6 library books onto your left hand. So it gets heavier and heavier. When I tap you on the palm of your left hand, those library books just get heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier. That's fantastic. Heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier. Sinking down and drifting down. That is absolutely wonderful. On 6, you're all using your powers of intelligence, imagination and concentration so effectively that as you do on the count of 5, the deeper you go, the better you feel, and the better you feel, the deeper you go with each second, every moment, every thought and every word that you hear, think or I say. On 4, someone's almost come along and tied another 2 bunches of red helium balloons to the back of your left hand, making them so light, lighter than air. And they put another load of leather-bound library books onto your left palm, making them heavier and heavier, sinking down, drifting down. 3. With each second that passes by, this is a sign and a signal to your mind and your body to help every nerve, fibre, tissue and muscle in your body from the tips of your toes to the tips of your fingers to become so limp, so loose, so relaxed, so heavy and so tired in a way that feels right for you. And on 2, realising now that if I should tap you gently on the back of the hands in a few moments' time, if I should tap you gently on the back of the hands, it will not bother you, worry you or concern you. Be a sign and a signal to keep your eyes tightly closed at all times unless I say otherwise. And just to instantly and rapidly allow every nerve, fibre, tissue and muscle in your body, from the tips of your toes to the tips of your fingers, to sink down, drift down and just relax more as you just relax, drifting down, sinking down. Drifting down, sinking down, drifting down, sinking down, drifting down, sinking down, drifting down, sinking down. That's brilliant. Drifting down, sinking down, drifting down, sinking down, and deeper. Drifting down, sinking down, drifting down. I'm talking to everyone, keeping your eyes tightly closed at all times. I'm going to count very rapidly this time, backwards from 10 down to 1 on each descending number in your mind's eye. I'd like you to imagine a staircase. Now this is a calm, safe and secure staircase in a way that feels right for you. You can feel totally calm, safe and secure at all times. But with each count backwards from 10 down to 1, it's just a sign and a signal to your mind and your body to relax 100 times deeper with each second, each minute, each moment that passes by. So on 10, 9 and 8. The deeper you go, the better you feel. And the better you feel, the deeper you go with each second that passes by. 7 and 6, it's almost as if you go down that staircase of relaxation, using your powers of mind so effectively, that every nerve, fibre, tissue and muscle in your body, from the tips of your toes to the tips of your fingers, becoming like a loose, limp ragdoll. 5, 4, so calm, so safe, so secure. 3, drifting down, sinking down, eyes remaining tightly closed at all times unless I say otherwise. On 2, in a few moments' time, I'm going to lift up that would be your left hand. Your left hand. When I do it will not bother you, worry you or concern you. And the moment I let go of your left wrist, it will just sink down into your lap, and the moment it does, it will just be a sign and a signal to drift down 100 times deeper. Getting your left wrist down, drifting down, sinking down. That's brilliant. Drifting down, sinking down, deeper and deeper. The deeper you go, the better you feel. That's wonderful. Drifting down, sinking down, drifting down, sinking down, drifting down, sinking. That's fantastic. Drifting down, wonderful. Drifting down, sinking, that's wonderful. Drifting down, sinking down, and deeper, deeper. That's brilliant. 2 and 1. Keeping your eyes tightly closed at all times. I'm talking to your unconscious now. I'm talking directly to your unconscious in a way that feels right for you. I'd like each and every one of you to imagine in your mind's eye now. Imagine in your mind's eye that you have got almost like a measuring stick from 0 to 10 with numbers on. And this measuring stick's a bit like a thermometer because it's got mercury inside. And if you were to heat that up, the mercury would start rising up inside your mind. And it will go up the numbers higher and higher. And as it did, that will be a sign and a signal to you that that particular area of your life had improved to that level. Now, I want you, in a way that feels right for you, to either decide for yourself whether this is going to be for you self-confidence, a ruler, a measuring stick of self-confidence, or whether it's going to be a measuring stick of self-esteem and your self-image. Or perhaps it may be for you a measuring stick of your ability to control pain, as and when you need to, in a way that you once thought would have been difficult and yet will prove itself to be so ridiculously easy. So imagine that 0 at the bottom is like no self-confidence, no self-esteem, no self-image, no ability to control pain. But 10 at the top is Mr. Confident, Mrs. Confident. It's perfect self-image, perfect feeling good about yourself. It's that ability to make pain, well, a thing of the past, that you feel no discomfort whatsoever in a way that feels right for you. That's cool. And just take a few moments. It's up to you. It might be a lighter you use, a blowtorch, an imaginary campfire. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want. Just imagine making some heat around the bottom of that thermometer in your mind's eye. So as it heats up, the mercury starts to rise. And as it does, if you're thinking of confidence, it's almost as if you start to feel a renewed sense of optimism and confidence in life, filling every nerve, fibre, tissue and muscle in your body from the tips of your toes to the tips of your fingers. If it's to control pain, as that mercury rises up the numbers, you realise that immediately, rapidly and permanently, you can start to realise that you feel no discomfort whatsoever in the way you once did in the past. So allow that to go through 1, 2, 3, going up the numbers, and use as much heat as you need in your mind's eye to make that mercury go to the number 10. And when you get it to the number 10 in your mind's eye, when and only when you get it to the number 10 in your mind's eye in a way that feels right for you, I'd just like you to wiggle the fingers on your, well, yeah, your left hand will do. Just wiggle the fingers on your left hand as a sign and signal to me that you've got it to 10. That's brilliant. You've got it to 10, 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 got it to 10. Just put some more heat in if you need to. That's brilliant. Got it to 10, yeah? Got it to 10. Okay. What I need you now to do in your mind's eye in a way that feels right for you. Some people have told me before that they imagine using a hammer and nails. Some people say they imagine using a screwdriver and a screw. Some say they use a staple gun or rope to tie things. Some say they use concrete to concrete it in place. Doesn't matter, whatever feels right for you, the more ridiculous the better, and more permanent and positive this will be for you. But we need to lock, glue, weld, cement, bolt in place permanently and positively for you at the number 10, that mercury, so it can never drop below that level, so that you've always got 100% confidence, willpower, self-esteem, or the ability to control that used to bother you in the past, so you feel no discomfort whatsoever in the way you once did. So imagine now either staple gunning it, nailing it in place, bolting it in place, locking it in place. It doesn't matter, whatever's right for you is right for you. You know your mind perfectly, your mind knows the best thing for you. And when you feel that in your mind's eye you've locked, glued, welded, cemented, bolted, fixed, in whatever way is right for you, that mercury permanently and positively at the number 10, then just wiggle the fingers of your left hand once again so that that's brilliant, that's brilliant, 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 fantastic everyone. Now, obviously we don't want anyone to ever come and tamper with that. Even though we have locked, glued, welded and cemented it in place, we don't want anyone to ever to be able to come and undo the padlock or take the nail out or whatever it is you've used. So this time, I'm going to count backwards from 3 to 1. On the count of 1 and on the count of 1 only, in a way that feels right for you. It might be using a huge sort of like washing jet or hose to use so much water that it immediately pushes that image of the thermometer deep, safely, and in the distance, back into your unconscious now, so that no one can ever undo all the positive work we've done here right now. That's brilliant. So, 3, start to think of the way that's right for you. It might be, I don't know, attaching it to a rocket and setting the rocket off so it ends up hidden so far in the back of your mind that no one can ever find it, to undo that positive work, so that it's permanently and positively at 10. So it's locked, glued, welded in place, so that it's 100% perfect and successful for you in every way, shape and form. That's brilliant. 2, and on 1, do whatever it is that's right for you. It's almost like waving goodbye to a friend, but knowing that that friend is there in the background for you, so as an automatic reflex action, ensure and help you achieve whatever it is that you decided to use that measuring stick for. And just take a nice deep breath in and out. I'm talking to everyone. I'm going to count from 1 to 5. On the count of 5 and only on the count of 5, you'll instantly then be able to open your eyes. You'll return to full alertness in every way, shape or form. You'll find it's almost as if every nerve, fibre, tissue and muscle in your body, from the tips of your toes to the tips of your fingers, has been washed with pure spring water, re-energising, revitalising you in every manner. You'll find that you know in your mind's eye with total confidence in every way that from this moment forward, you've got all the confidence, willpower, self-esteem, or ability to say goodbye to what once bothered you in the past, or the ability to feel no discomfort whatsoever. Whatever it is you worked on then, you know that when you awaken each morning, you'll awaken with an inner warm glow of confidence, a renewed optimism to life, a more positive attitude to get things done, because you realise on the count of 2, from this moment forward, you can equal the greatest achievements of life's greatest achievers, and that something you once thought in the past may have proved itself in the past to be difficult, has now proven itself and continues to prove itself to be so ridiculously easy in a way that feels right for you. 3, every nerve, fibre, tissue, muscle, and every element and fibre in your body, from the tips of your toes to the tips of your fingers, almost as though they're starting to, for want of a better phrase, heal and go back to factory settings in a way that's right for you, so that you've got all the confidence, all the willpower, all the ability to say goodbye permanently and safely to those things that once bothered you in the past, so that you can feel no discomfort, so you can get on with your life permanently, positively and safely. 4, lighter and brighter, almost as if all the stresses, tensions, worries, fears and apprehensions of days and weeks gone by are leaving your mind and leaving your body now. And on 5, just take a few moments to allow yourself to come back to the room, and when you're ready you'll find that you can indeed open your eyes. A few moments and you can just bring yourself back to the room. You may want to rub your eyes, because obviously it's like having a bit of a kip. We're all back in the land of the living, guys and girls.
Can I not go back?
Can you not go back? You'll be able to take yourself there whenever you want to, in a place that's safe, obviously, not just walking across a road at the end of the weekend. Right, before we go to lunch, I'm going to explain what I did, because none of you saw it. You experienced that, as opposed to seeing the physical things that went on. And there was a lot of physical trickery going on there, more than you'd be consciously aware of, and that's the whole point of it. As you'll find out after lunch.
Me then.
You are?
I wondered who was joking me.
Indeed, your mind was going mad. Like I say, everyone is coming round. I so wish that you could have seen yourselves, because it's safe to say that to some degree or level, arguably you were hypnotised, if you believe in that. Or more truthfully, you all did go to some level of eyes closed relaxation process, which is probably more accurate. Just before we go to lunch, honestly, what did that feel like? You don't need to share with the group what it was you were working on. That can be private to you, that can be content free. Just how would you describe that experience that we've just gone through?
Lack of self-consciousness.
I found it a very relaxing way to increase my confidence.
Okay.
Although that's already fairly hard.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Relaxing, okay. Lack of, what was that before?
Self-consciousness.
Lack of self-consciousness, cool. Yeah.
I found myself giggling and smiling, but not because I thought it was a crop. Because when you did that, introduction or whatever you want to call it, seed-start, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
I hadn't actually gone through
Mark's
it.
got the benefit of knowing a bit more about what went on there, because at the last stage hypnosis seminar, we did cover elements of that.
Well, I'd never had it done to me though. I'd seen it,
Right.
but I didn't, and then to actually experience it, it was like, whoa! It was a shock.
Yeah.
It was like, but a shock in a nice way.
Yeah.
Like, oh, let me go with it.
Yeah, which is part of the physical trick. So good, lack of self-consciousness. Anyone else have any? Not words that mean the same thing, but
It's
different.
probably not the right word, but
Right.
I've obviously had this experience on countless occasions. I don't know, every time I've come back round from it, I feel quite euphoric after it.
Euphoric, cool. Yeah, can't spell that. But you
No,
call
neither
it.
can
Doesn't matter, but I like
Got it, one.
You're on an upper.
Yeah. Yeah,
I can spell that.
Yeah.
I can spell that. Yeah. Any other observation? Not necessarily about how it felt, but just like.
Well, I mean, I struggled. I was in a lot of pain trying to hold my arms up, so it distracted me. So what, I don't know quite what you do there, because I just found it. I was relaxed, but I was distracted because it was creating.
No,
more pain
in an ideal world, we
obviously.
do a different technique,
Yeah.
which we can do after lunch. But to some degree,
I did go.
you certainly did to some level. But you know what? I'm still going to put that word down because that is very relevant to the explanation of what was going on. You were more distracted by the difficulty in the position.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to go, go with it, and
The
I
irony
did.
of it is that's still, when we come to break it down, a good thing. You wouldn't ideally want to be doing it too long, but it's still a good thing because at the end of the day, you kept thinking, oh, I don't want to do this too long. What you weren't doing is paying full attention to what I was saying. Okay? Which is good, because then that means that what I'm saying is not getting analysed at a conscious level. If you think of the mind as being, and this is completely not a bollocks, it's an analogy, however you say it. Everyone has different models of thought, they're all bollocks, no one's proved what's right, and even people who say they've cut brains up and say it works, they don't know. Nobody really does know. So I just like to imagine that that's a nose, okay? It doesn't look like one, it is a nose.
Okay.
So that's the way it's facing. I like to say that the front bit here is the conscious, the here and now, us as we are. The back bit here is the unconscious. Some people incorrectly, well, you want to be pedantic about it, incorrectly call it the subconscious, but in psychology they call it the unconscious, not subconscious. And the middle bit there is what they call the critical faculty, or analytical area. You'll never need to know this when you're dealing with clients, so why I'm telling you, fuck knows, just for completeness. But, man, sod the arty-farty terms, I prefer to think of it, yes it is in that manner, but I like to think of it as, rather than that, I like to think of it as, that's a nose again, right? I like to think of it as it is 3 layers, but what we have here, what we called the conscious before, is sort of awake us, yeah? Or feelings, or energy, if you want to use that analogy, energy in motion. It's what we feel, sense, experience. The back bit, so-called unconscious, is, let's call it the computer hard drive. Okay? And this is a top secret facility where all your secrets are kept, and memories and stuff, and you don't necessarily want people to have access there. So you do employ a security guard, which is the middle bit. Now, unfortunately in life sometimes, when us is distracted, perhaps really emotionally into something, so the energies are a bit fucked up, call it however you want to put it, but it all sort of means the same thing. We could be so distracted on this here, and it's so emotional that our security guard, that's supposed to be stopping people or things getting into our computer hard drive, suddenly think, oh, a bit concerning, I hope they're alright, and gets distracted and gets involved in this process of emotion or whatever, so isn't looking, so something over here that you're not consciously aware of because you're into the emotion, and something else the security guard's trying to help you with, can get past, into the sort of past there, and into the computer hard drive. And then suddenly the security guard comes back on duty, doesn't realise that's already got in, and is back to protecting the computer hard drive. Unfortunately, doesn't realise already got in there is the need, want and craving and desire to smoke, or what have you. So what our job is to do is to distract the security guard, so he fucks off on a tea break, so we can get past him and into the computer room to where the head engineer, excuse the pun, but it's good sort of metaphor wording is, and press the delete button on the file that is negative. Or add a new piece of software that is positive. Which goes back to what we said before about pain and pleasure. Does it all make sense? Yeah? And that is ultimately what any of the changes or change work we're going to do is all about. If you use that analogy, it's about distracting the security guard. So, yeah, that actually, when we come back to here, in your case, Elaine, alright, it wasn't ideal, but you were still distracted because your mind was thinking about something to the exclusion of other things.
When we were doing the bit with the, with the temperature gauge and all that security guard kept popping in to have a little look because I had a little bit of, battle there, trying to get the dial up, and I think, but then I got it there.
Well, I know you did because I didn't proceed until people wiggle the fingers, which we'll cover after, because obviously I can't climb inside your head and know when you've done it. So I needed to visually know, that's why I got you to wiggle your fingers. Now we'll break down what we just did there after lunch, so that you can actually then use it on other people. But again, that's a pretty quick intervention, even though it was a bit longer than the first one. And I didn't even need to know what it was you were thinking about. So, and it can be used for phobias, this, that. You can use pretty much any of these, as long as you frame them and present them in a manner that it looks like that's what you're meant to do, then ultimately that is the result you'll get. On that note, we're just approaching 1 o'clock, so, when you come out of the door here, if you turn right, then you first right at the corner, that's sort of the way into town. I don't know if people like, if anyone's got a vehicle, they want to share a vehicle in, or if you're going to ring a taxi, remember use Tiger taxis that I said about, so you can get a few of you into town, especially if someone wants to give Elaine a lift if you want to go. You'll find very close by, you've got Asda, but then just a bit further on you've got places like the Flying Horse, that's quite nice pub that does food as well and is respectable pub. As a pub.
What are you doing, man?
Won't it be quicker than to go straight across then and past the college to get into town? If they want to go straight into town instead of going round?
No. Well, it's up to people, but no, because that way is all flat, and then you can either cut through the subway around and you're not going up hills. You go by the college, you've got to go sort of up an hill first before going down. I don't know, whatever people want to do. Point being, where we are here, on Tiger Taxis, I'm sure you've got the number, if not, it's 01706 64114. They're the cheapest cab firm. So can we definitely be back here for like 2:15, so that I know we're all back, so that we can be starting at like 25 past 2, because we have got loads to get through this afternoon. Because by the end of today I want it all to have gelled together, and several more techniques, so that tomorrow we can get into the realms of my approach of complete mind therapy, creating your own approaches, and quite an important one, making money out of it, and breaking it down to what to do if it's a phobia, what to do if it's a drug addict, what to do if it's smoking. So then essentially you'll be ready and in business. So yeah, thank you for now, and can we all be back here, as I say, for about 2:15? Thank you very much indeed.
What's the nearest place out?
In terms of
Just going to the
distance, well, Asda's the nearest.
Go into town and you see the Flying Horses
She's going where?
As does the nearest.
Drink.
They've got a cafe in there, but I will be heading towards the Flying Horse because they serve a wonderful thing called alcohol.
Do you want to come with me, Alex? And I can directly, because I can take 4 people.
No, I don't drink.
Okay, well, Elaine's a priority.
Yeah.
Sorted.
Alright, cool.
I'll head down with you then.
Thank
So,
you.
I'm not
Does
driving.
anyone else come in?
Well, just
Oh,
pop that in
good.
there, so I can grab your
How
cigarette
many have we
before
got? How many have we
I
got?
get some money.
Good stuff. Sorted.
Be quite useful as well, I think. I'll just turn that camera off. I'm now filming us, just sat here discussing lunch.
I'm going to